Look at any modern city at night. This massive, glowing web of electricity delivers the constant stream of power required to keep every hospital, factory, and home on Earth functioning. Now contrast that endless wealth of energy with a freezing January in 1943 in room 3327 of the Hotel New Yorker. An 86-year-old man passes away, thousands of dollars in debt, spending his final days feeding pigeons. That man was Nikola Tesla. He holds the patents for the polyphase system that keeps that global grid running, yet he died practically penniless. How does someone provide the specific engineering blueprints for the 20th century, only to be crushed by the economic system he helped create? To answer that, we have to look at the 1880s. The United States was desperate to electrify, but the entire industry was bottlenecked by one man's standard, Thomas Edison. This map graphic illustrates the technical flaw with Edison's standard, direct current, or DC. Direct current pushes electricity in a single continuous direction, which means it loses voltage extremely fast over distance. To keep a grid running, Edison had to build expensive, coal-burning power stations every 2 miles. Because of that limitation, electricity was strictly an elite luxury. It worked in densely packed, wealthy urban neighborhoods where power plants could be clustered together, but left rural towns and farms entirely in the dark. Then, an immigrant from the Austro-Hungarian Empire arrived in New York. Nikola Tesla possessed a photographic memory and an obsession with electricity. He had already developed the polyphase principles that solved Edison's transmission problem. But having a superior solution is only half the battle. Tesla was walking into a profit-driven market that had already poured millions of dollars into Edison's technology, and those investors were prepared to protect their stake. Tesla's alternative was the polyphase alternating current, or AC, induction motor. Unlike Edison's steady flow, alternating current reverses its direction 50 to 60 times a second. This cycling allows the current to sustain high voltage levels over hundreds of miles with minimal power loss. Compared side by side on this chart, the difference is clear. While the direct current line flatlines just a few miles from the source, alternating current maintains the energy needed to power distant substations. George Westinghouse, an industrialist who built his fortune on railway air brakes, recognized the financial potential of AC. He licensed Tesla's patents and hired the inventor to develop a commercial system that could outscale Edison. This alliance reached a global stage at the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. Westinghouse undercut Edison's bid by $1 million, and Tesla used alternating current to light the entire fairground, proving his system was safe, reliable, and capable of powering a nation. Tesla's first victory shows that scientific genius changes the world when it successfully aligns with a profitable business model. Conquering the electrical grid pushed Tesla's ambition toward a world without wires. During his research in Colorado, Tesla realized that the Earth possesses electric potential. He theorized that by tuning into the planet's stationary electromagnetic waves, he could use the ground as a conductor to transmit power wirelessly across the globe. To prove this, Tesla began constructing an enormous transmission facility in New York called Wardenclyffe Tower. He secured $150,000 from J.P. Morgan, the most powerful financier on Wall Street. But investor and inventor were working toward different goals. Morgan wanted a wireless telegraphy network to send messages across the Atlantic and dominate the communication industry. Tesla intended to use the facility to pump free electricity into the sky for anyone with a receiver to intercept. Tesla's vision was a technical marvel, but a market impossibility. You cannot attach a meter to power pulled freely from the atmosphere. If any consumer could stick a pole in the ground and light their house, the utility business model would effectively vanish. When Morgan realized Tesla's system couldn't be metered or controlled for profit, he pulled his funding. The Wardenclyffe Tower was left to rot. Capitalism will abandon any innovation it cannot monopolize. The collapse of Wardenclyffe ruined Tesla's professional standing. Other investors followed Morgan's lead, and without capital, he could no longer build his machines. Isolated from the industry, he spent the next few decades theorizing increasingly outlandish concepts in New York hotels. He drafted plans for particle beam weapons, high-frequency oscillators, and even claimed to have received signals from other planets. He had always lived with obsessive compulsions, like a strict fixation on the number 3. Without practical engineering work to anchor his mind, these neuroses took over his life, turning him into an eccentric recluse. The press eventually labeled him a mad scientist. It was a title forced upon him by a market that no longer found his specific brand of genius useful for generating a return. Thomas Edison died wealthy and celebrated as an industrial titan. 12 years later, Nikola Tesla died alone in a hotel room, leaving behind little more than a collection of awards and expired patents. This technical drawing shows the real winner. Edison's direct current systems were obsolete within a generation. It is Tesla's induction motor and AC grid that continue to power the factories, electric cars, and homes of the 21st century. It is a deep irony that a trillion-dollar corporation now uses his name for global branding. They are capitalizing on the legacy of a man who was notoriously bad at the business of invention. Tesla predicted radar, radio, and wireless communication decades before they existed. But his life remains a harsh cautionary tale. Even the most brilliant vision is powerless without the fuel of the market to sustain it.